it's really important that you are authentically yourself. Like I'm saying, I can't find another word. But knowing all the time that you've got to be comfortable with being yourself publicly, because people get to see that stuff. I mean, you have the option to, of course, not be friends with people on Facebook, but when you are networking online, that's the profile that people get to see.
Yeah, and to be personally honest, I only buy from people who I know. So I only buy from, if I've seen someone, I don't buy from people who hide their profile.
Yeah.
So that's my personal take on this.
Yeah.
Because I have to have a degree of trust.
Yeah.
So I don't buy from someone if I'm not properly connected to them. And that goes likewise for spreading the business.
Yes.
Or investing in their business if I don't know someone, or they've been recommended to me by someone else who knows them.
Well, we know, like, what is the best way of getting work or finding a product or service? It's referral, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
My roof is leaking. You'll ask all your friends before you'll just kind of get out a guide and, to start searching. If nobody knows anybody, then you'll have to go onto Facebook. Does anybody know somebody who can fix my leaky roof, or whatever that might be? Because you think, well, if you've used them and you say they're good, then I can trust that because I trust you, or it's that sort of stuff. So it's all the time being really clear that our personal brand needs to be authentically us. It needs to have elements in there that reflect our personality, the things that we care about, our moral code, our values, the stuff that we care about, the stuff that we do, and let that be seen, because then you attract the right people that you want to work with. Nobody wants to work with somebody that they don't like.
Yeah.
But I can't work with everybody, and you can't work with everybody, and because there's not enough time in the world.
And that's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. It's like, when people say join the hub or something, I genuinely say to people, if this isn't fitting you, then you don't have to be here. There is a tribe for everyone.
Completely.
Tribe for everyone. There is a PT for everyone. There's a branding expert for everyone.
Yes.
There's different people for everyone, and that's then how you find the people who are really meant to be working with you.
For sure.
I truly believe that. And you know what? You actually touched on something about being authentically you. And this is a thing, actually, because I put out a TikTok video.
Oh, right.
I love dancing. Those that know me know that I love dancing. And I put this TikTok video out yesterday, literally just shaking my bum. And then I had that feeling like, oh my gosh, maybe I shouldn't put that on there because so I do still have these things that go on inside. I do know how to work through them.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that even though I show up really happy and joyous, doesn't mean that I don't go, oh my God, should I have even done that? Because I had that moment of, should I have even done that? And then I thought, no, because this is me.
Yes.
This is me. I love dancing. I love shaking my ass. I even got into the kitchen with my son afterwards with dancing to 80s music. And it was like, if people don't know who I am, I could easily turn up and look, I am professional in what I do. And I could easily turn up and look professional. And be just professional, but not show the essence of me.
Yeah, but what does that even mean? It's that thing of looking professional. It's like it kind of feels like it's outdated and outmoded.
It
does. One of the things I asked in the group this week was for people to describe, as what they were an expert in, and maybe only 8 people out of out of the whole group were able to actually describe themselves as an expert, because we're so uncomfortable with this idea of am I really good at that? I don't know. What if I said I was really good at it? Does that make me seem big-headed or egotistical? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have put that out there. All the time, we need to just let it go. you know, we are what we are. It's why my group is called Be You now. We are what we are, and we get to a certain point in life where we need to recognize that. And the more that we can be honest about who we are, whether that's shaking your bum, I'd probably be too embarrassed to do that. I'm going to stand up and do it now, which I can't believe. It's like my head going, what's wrong with you? But you know, when you get to that point where you can kind of go, that's all right, and let it go. It's fine. It doesn't really matter. But there's bits of us trying to keep us safe. And there's bits of us who are trying to keep us quiet and stay in the background and don't speak up because you might get into trouble. And maybe you don't really know anything anyway. So who are you to put your hand up in the air and start giving advice and comments and stuff because you don't really know anything? Imposter syndrome, loads and loads of stuff.
Exactly.
It can become so complicated, yeah. So what I say when you start to get visible, the first thing we need to think about is our personal profile. That's the easiest way to start off. Make sure your photograph reflects your brand. Use the banner across the top if you want to promote or say what it is you do. It could even just be a quote that you love, something that reflects your personality, and use the little bio down the side to link people to places or to tell them information about you that you want them to know. Yeah, it's really, really simple. So you can show up and be visible just by doing that, even if you're not comfortable with doing videos and lives. And that will improve the perception that people have of you and your business in a way that's real to you. Yeah. So you can put, if you want, you can put in loads of stuff there that's not true at all. I graduated from Harvard University.
Yeah. We can't put that. I tell you what, everyone's going to start changing their profile now and going, yeah, Harvard.
Yeah, I could do an American accent. I could get away with doing an American accent, no problem. That will be fine. Irish American always sounds a little bit the same. But I think it's just that thing of like being really clear about those things and spend some time thinking about your motivation. You know, why are you motivated to do what you do?
Yes.
That's all you're kind of showing up and talking about. That's it. I mean, in a nutshell, obviously I'm making it seem like it's super, super easy, but there's simple steps that you can follow through now. You can kind of go and spend a half an hour on today, you know, or maybe a little bit longer if you want to design something. Yours looks great, you know, but you can go and just find a positive quote and stick it up there, anything. Yeah. Or a picture that reflects your favorite holiday that you've been on, that tells people about the sort of things you like. Because let's say, for example, I love going camping, which I do, but it's not the only thing I like doing. I do like comfort stuff as well. But say I like going camping, right? And there's 50 people in the room and they're looking to work with a photographer, and 10 of those people love going camping as well, and they happen to see that I love camping. We immediately got a conversation going. It's like, oh, you go camping? Yeah, I went camping. Oh, have you been to the Nine Ladies? Yeah, I've been to the Nine Ladies. When did you go there? Oh, I was there. You got a way of having conversation. So when you have a similar trust factor going on, if you like similar things to me, we're going to have a conversation. And if we have a conversation, it's easier to do business with somebody, isn't it?
I reckon we'll have a conversation about camping for sure. I love camping. I love wild camping as well. So I love camping.
No, well, you got my point exactly. That's what I mean. So it's just like, it's almost like forming you know, my current banner on my personal profile page is of the Isle of Arran. It's of my two kids. If you look off in the distance, you can see there's two kids out, like almost, it looks like they're in the water. And it's one of my favourite photographs ever. It's my favourite place to be. I love that place so much. And I dream of living there. You know, it's just so tranquil and absolutely delightful. But if people see that, they'll get a sense of, oh, she can take a good picture, or she likes being by the sea, or I don't know, they might recognise that it's the Isle of Arran and be like, oh, have you been to the Isle of Arran too? Whatever. That's not the reason I put it up there. But what I'm trying to do is sort of suggest that whatever we do on our profiles, on our personal profiles, really reflects back on us. And so to be really mindful of that, I guess, is the best thing.
Absolutely. And you're so right. It is about being, you know, mindful of how you're showing up, but just being you. And I think you just get that so right, just being you. I think, you know, that word authentic, that's been used too many times. I just think it's almost like being taken by many businesses and then like just thrown about, hasn't it? But it is, my son, I tell you what, my son said the most amazing thing one day. He's only 10 years old. And I went into the bedroom and I said, I can't remember what I said. I said, Mummy does this. Or, talking to myself as Mummy. And he went, why have you said that for? Why didn't you just say me? And I went, yeah.
Yeah,
just say me. He goes, yeah, I don't know why you just said mummy for, like referring to yourself as mummy.
Yeah,
like
you.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I am. Just me. It's like a really great business coach asked me recently, she said, who are you? And I just quickly straight away and said, me. I am me.
Wow.
Because when you start knowing who you are, isn't it?
Yeah, and we could go through a whole life still getting to know ourselves and figure that out, but we know there are certain things that we like and certain things that we don't like, and certain things we like and certain things we don't like, and so on and so forth. And it's just about making sure that people know the stuff that you care about and you're interested in or not, and so they can kind of get a sense of that.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. But so you're not looking over your shoulder, having to kind of go, oh, did I miss blah, blah, blah. I used to call them postmortems. If I went out socially, I'd do a social postmortem. So the next day I'd be like, oh, why did I say that? Why did I do that? Maybe I shouldn't have danced on that table. That kind of, that stuff.
That's so funny. That's so funny. You know what? I've actually coined that word, that postmortems, social postmortems, because I have a saying called yesterday's chip paper. So if it goes out, it's yesterday's chip paper, because everyone's going to forget about it in the end, aren't they?
Except you, if you focus on it so much, you won't let it go, and it just fills up your head.
Yeah, absolutely.
We worry so much about how people see us that we don't show up and be seen at all, and nobody really cares. The people who do care will be there, and they'll love the fact that you've made yourself visible and you've made yourself accessible, and they can learn from you and you can help and support them. But the other people who don't, well, it doesn't matter anyway, and so it's kind of getting control of all that, I think, is important, and they're the things to be really clear on when you're deciding on what your personal brand is and how you show up.
Absolutely. I mean, I can be completely honest, because when I come on lives, sometimes I get like really shaky. I can feel it in my body.
Right, yeah.
But it's about, just turning up more and more and more.
Yeah.
And you know that in the end it is going to get better. It's going to get easier and easier.
But there's somebody said something in my group last week about fear and excitement. They're the exact same hormone. So
intertwined.
Yeah.
Intertwined. Fear and excitement are intertwined, because once you've then done it, you just feel so amazing afterwards, and everything kind of dissipates, and you're like, oh, okay, it wasn't as bad as. Yeah.
And if you don't do it either, you won't know, because you might do it and it's absolutely horrendous. There's one girl in the group who, she came in and she did her first live ever inside my group, and she said that the first live that she'd ever done, she felt like she was going to throw up after she'd done it. That's how it was so intense. She's a photographer, by the way, and she was so scared about it, really, and I think because her physical reaction to it was so acute that it was putting her off ever doing it again. So the whole mind-body connection is super, super powerful, and when we think something and then we feel there's a physical reaction to that thought, and then it kind of goes on loop, and then you stay in that loop, it's really powerful. So if you can sometimes feel the fear and go, actually that feels the same thing as excitement does when I'm excited about something, and switch your brain into that mode, then that's
a really great tip. That's a really great tip as well, because excitement, they do go, and fear, they do go hand in hand, and it is important that I suppose it's being aware of it, isn't it?
Yes, trying it out and doing it anyway, but only if you have the motivation to do so. If there's no reason for you to get visible, then don't. Fine, watch from the sidelines, watch other people doing it. But see, you have to find that motivation, and if you have it, then you will find a way.
And it's then being consistent, I reckon.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, consistency and is. I've probably got something. Actually, I was talking to somebody around. Let me just see. I did. I'm sure I wrote the word consistency down earlier on. Anyway, I think I was thinking about like communicating your values, you know, is what I was saying earlier on, but consistently doing that. Then people start to recognize that you do say what it is, or you do what it is that you say that you do. Because you got to get the results, you know,
Yeah.
consistently, time and time again. Someone describes you as somebody got the results of X, Y, and Z. You know, if that's consistent over, you know, all the time, then it's there. It's obvious, and you have to start then listening to that stuff yourself. You
It
know.
can then be seen as well. And that's the thing, as you start to talk about it, it can then be seen in its all entirety.
Yeah, but I think it's really interesting. I mean, I've been at networking events where someone has given some really lovely feedback about me, and I just become like that, like almost like, oh, I wish they weren't doing this. Can you not do it? Do it behind my back. Do it when I'm not in the room. That would be really nice, but don't do it with me here. And that was again a whole thing around being visible. I couldn't accept the compliment. I didn't, you know, they were being really kind and saying something because maybe they thought that somebody else would want to work with me or whatever. But I just, it's really, really difficult, and that's an interesting thing to explore as well. What's
That
that?
is really interesting, actually, that you should say that, because sometimes you don't know whether to like just go, you know what, just let my ego have like a little bit of a, a little bit of a like going, you know what, thank you so much, type thing. Or you don't know whether to like go, oh my God, no, and not let, and not let it kind of be seen. But sometimes I have this thing about ego, and I do feel like there should be a little bit of a balance. And let your ego have like a little bit of a,
Yeah, I'll have to learn that one. You're going to have to teach me that, Trina. I need to learn that. It's a really interesting thing because somebody will send me an email or they'll write a comment about something and I'll actually physically cry because
yeah,
of the impact that whatever it was that I did or said for them, and it makes me really, emotional. Wow, because that's my purpose. This is why I'm doing it. This is my area of genius, my expertise, whatever. And it's easy for me to do that behind my screen, but I don't want to do it. Well, couldn't do it in person right now anyway, but don't tell me about it. I had a friend who once said, would it be easier to leave your birthday present at the front door and ring the doorbell and run away than actually to give it to you? And I was like, yeah, it would be much easier.
oh
Because I
wow,
don't have to open it in front of anybody and for you to be looking at me. And I think probably last year was probably one of the first birthdays when I got given something that I opened it immediately there on the spot in front of the person and thanked them. And I've had to teach myself to do that. So my visibility hasn't just been around uncomfortable around being like in a photograph or a video or whatever it is. It's way more than that. So it's a very, very deep level of personal work I've had to do.
receiving, it's receiving, isn't
Receiving.
it?
It's receiving.
Receiving, and you're not the only one. Even I go through that as well. That receiving, and then it's having to work out, where you give that receiving to yourself as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Because how do we all, you can't, things have to be in balance.
Yeah.
If you give all the time and you don't receive, then it's all lopsided, isn't it?
Yeah.
It has to be, everything has to be in balance. And, that's definitely what you do with your clients. That's how you're helping people. But I grew up with a dad who said that you're either a giver or a taker, and you weren't both. And so I wanted to be like him and be a giver. He was a natural giver, and that felt like the right thing for me to do. I wasn't trying to be, I just naturally, that's how I was. And so it felt right for me, but then I was too uncomfortable to receive.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of the work that I've kind of gone through with that, is recognizing what that is. And actually, he wasn't right. As much as I love my dad and he's amazing and I have great conversation with him, he wasn't right about that. You can be both. You can give and give and give, but you can also take and take. And so we have to figure out a way of doing that for ourselves, to ourselves, show up, be seen, be comfortable with being who we are, look after our bodies, our health, our mind, what we put in there in our thoughts, what we put in there in terms of nutrition, all of that. We have to take, especially right now, responsibility and respect for ourselves.
Yes.
Because that's when we do that, the results are phenomenal, aren't they?
Absolutely. It kind of changes your perception of life itself, of what's going on in life.
Yeah.
It's you mentioned it really well. It is coming down to being your body's best friend, really. It is coming down to being your body's best friend, because you know, I grew up in a family where it's give, give, give.
Yeah.
And it's, I'll completely admit that I'm like, that I was a people pleaser.
Yes.
And still to some tiny degree, I'm still a little bit, but just not as how I was. And, you know, like just giving, because it does take it out of your physiology. It takes it out of your physiology. It takes it out of you. You just feel tired, and you just can't. You can't give anymore. You can't.
And then I think then what can happen is there's a kind of you can build up a what's the right word I can use? A resentment.
Yes.
To giving. Please don't ask me, please don't anybody else ask me for anything because I haven't got anything left to give. And it's like, okay, so you need to start receiving.
Yeah.
You need to start seeing yourself in a way that deserves to receive. And if that's changing your profile picture to something that's really beautiful of you and letting yourself receive all those comments, well,
yeah, let the comments in.
Let those comments in, hear them, you know, and maybe completely take it on, because, you know, if we're going out and we're saying, I'm really good at what I do and I want to help you, yeah, then you have to let people see that you're there. You've got to let them in. You've got to be there. You've got to be seen. And it's the greatest thing that we can all do for ourselves, is to see ourselves for real, how we are. And I'm not talking about the fact that I don't like my nose from a side profile, you know, and I wish my and I wish the bum was a bit smaller or whatever. I don't mean it like that. I mean just to genuinely see and accept ourselves for who we are, because when you get a testimonial or feedback from a client that said, thank you so much, you helped me in X, Y, and Z, and you're so happy for that, and you spread it out and you share it on your Facebook page or your LinkedIn profile or whatever, because you want people to know that you want to help them too. But do you really take those words in about yourself? Do you really sort of swallow those down whole and hold on to them and think, I'm a good person, I did this? Do we? I don't know if we do, and we need to learn to do that for ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. The impact that many of you that are watching this right now making on people on a day-to-day basis is unbelievable. You know, you might smile at someone, and that could be the difference between someone's day. And it's these simple things, isn't it?
Yeah.
And taking those compliments, I found it really difficult to say, you know, oh, I actually heal people, because that's what they were getting.
That's
what my clients were getting from sessions, and they've even said it themselves. And then sometimes it's difficult to say that.
Yeah.
And then when you do start saying it, and you have to believe, because that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I would definitely say go to the point of saying that that's what you do as well. I can definitely see when you do your videos and when you teach what you're teaching, that someone is feeling calm within themselves. And when someone feels calm within themselves, their physiology changes.
Right.
That is essentially healing.
That's powerful.
So we don't see it as those type of things, do we?
Oh.
We don't see it that's what essentially that we are doing. But if you're changing the way someone feels about themselves, that they're feeling in a more relaxed state, that they can actually do something, can change their perspective on something, that is changing their physiology.
Yeah, completely.
They are in a state of healing.
Completely, and that's super powerful, isn't it? And that's a huge privilege to have to do that. Genuinely is a huge privilege, because, you know, like I said, you said in my introduction, it's that feedback you get. And so for everybody who's watching this, it's what is the feedback that you hear time and time again from other people about the transformation or the solution that you've given to their problem, and to take those words in for yourself and feel them and think, this is great, I'm having an impact and I want to create more impact. And you can do it by showing up and being visible.
Yeah, exactly.
More visible.
And it's about getting on camera, because you're going to help people get on camera.
So I guess it's one of the things that some of the stuff that we've already talked about is really what you need to be clear on to be able to get yourself on camera. You know, before lockdown, I don't even know if that's what we're calling it anymore, but, you know, up until the middle of March maybe, you know, I was still able to go and shoot people, and people would get in touch because they'd seen some photographs I'd made of somebody else and they really loved them and they needed some photographs for their business, for their brand, whatever. And I would do that. We also create video content the same way. So my partner makes video content. So this is what we are doing, but we can't do that. We can't go out and shoot anybody right now. So it was really clear to me that I could still help people to feel confident, feel good about themselves, and which is why I set up that Facebook group, my Facebook group Be You Now. And in there, really what I talk about is sort of self-acceptance and seeing yourself in a positive way. And I put tools and tips and tricks in there to maybe put into practice, like a gratitude list, or being able to take some positive things that people have said about you and hear them for real, and to think about why you're showing up and what difference you want to make in your community, to your family, and the wider world, whatever that is. And that's the thing. So many of us have the opportunity now to reach a much wider community than we would have done before. And the only limit is the limit of our mind. The only limit is us saying, oh, well, I just want to work with Tom down the road in the flower shop, you know, because that's what we would have done before. But now if we're working in and we're thinking in a different way, and everything will be different after this, it's like, what sort of person do you really want to help? And they don't have to be in your postcode anymore. They don't have to be in your locality anymore. So I'm talking a lot in there about how to get comfortable with seeing yourself and how to show up and be present. And because that's really all it is that we have to do, because the more that we do that, the easier it becomes. And the easier it becomes, then what you have to do something else. And then that's difficult for a bit, and then that becomes easy, and so on. So many layers in our personal development that we need to take actionable steps towards, to transform our lives. And if we don't want to transform our lives, if we're completely happy with how things are, then that's fine, and this isn't what you need. But there are so many of us out there who do, and that's why they will show up, and they'll be in your group or in my group or whatever, because we have years of experience to help them. So I guess it's mindset, motivation, and preparation is what I talk about. So your mindset, how to motivate yourself, and then how to prepare before you're going to show up online and talk about how you care. That's really it.
That's amazing. And that's so powerful. And this is a free gift as well for anyone who's watching this.
Yes, it's I'm
going to put some links up in the comments.
Yeah, do.
I'm truly, truly grateful that you are gifting this to people who are watching this, because this is going to help anyone who's watching this right now, just to help you get camera ready.
Yeah.
And show up, because I can't wait to see more of these videos. There's some really great lives showing up at this moment from some really amazing women doing such amazing stuff, and guys as well doing such amazing.
Well, I don't have any guys in my group. Interestingly, the group is a pretty new group. I only started at the end of March, and I have 3 requests from 3 different guys who have no idea who they are, where they are, if their profile even looked real. I don't even know how they found out about the group. And I made a decision, I don't know, it was the right decision or not, but it was the right decision at the time. So I have to say it was the right decision to keep it a female-only group, because it felt to me that it would be less voyeuristic if it was women in there showing up, doing selfies and doing lives and talking about their businesses and getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. That might be an easier space to do if it was all women in there. And I know that there's lots of guys who are uncomfortable being on the camera, including my filmmaker partner, my life partner, and both of my brothers, who would all benefit from it. But that's so that's not what the group is right now. It's a female-only group for those reasons. So that's what I decided to do.
Yeah, same with mine as well. So mine's a female-only group as well. I did toy with the idea of having men in there, but a lot of the women just didn't feel comfortable in one of the events I had.
Yeah.
And they just feel comfortable in a group for themselves for now.
Yeah.
So they can talk about the things that they want to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what you have to make the right decision at that time for that. And then you can change stuff in the future if you want to, a separate group if you want. But now this is the thing, that you're doing. So I guess if I was to kind of to recap for people, I would suggest look at your personal profile and give it a bit of a revamp. Yeah, give it a bit of an overhaul based on the things I said. Look at your profile picture, your banner, what it says, and your bio, the bits down the side. So make sure that it reflects you and your values and what you care about. And direct people to places that you might want to direct them to. And then also you will do the same audit perhaps on your other social media profiles. You do the same sort of thing, but it's especially important for Facebook, because when we interact and engage in other groups, if we're networking or with other people, that's what they see. They can see our personal profile, so it's really, really important to give that some consideration, and then to think about your mindset and motivation, the reason why you do want to get visible. What is your reason for getting visible? Who are you going to help? Are you going to improve your life or improve the lives of others? And get clear about that. And have a bit of, like, it's easy to say have a bit of fun. You're like, I'm not going to have any fun. It's too scary. I have a bit of a laugh. Just get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And, there's so many takes that you might take. And the great thing about lives is you can't retake it. It just has to go. If you shoot a video, you might do 50 takes just to get a 2-second piece of clip, so yeah.
Trust me, I should do some. Even my daughter says to me one day, she goes, you should post some outtakes.
Yes.
And like some of the outtakes, like I did one and I started talking and I went like this on camera because I've done about 20 takes on this video. 20 takes.
Yeah. I can believe it. Well, if you download my guide, there's like a 7-day 7 days of emails that I send you with more tips and tricks to follow it up, for 7 days.
Wow.
And in some of those emails there are some videos, and so there's some bits left in there which you would normally leave on the cutting room floor, as we call it, but we left them in, so you'll have to find out and see yourself.
But I tell you what, I am going to sign up for this. I know many people have signed up already for it. So it's very popular. Yes,
so it's a free guide, and just the emails, you can read them or not read them. Well, there's lots of. I spent a good few weeks putting all the content together for that to try and support as many people to get camera confident now, because we're all having to do that. So yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you for having me, Trina.
You are most welcome. Thank you for joining. It's been absolutely wonderful having you here. And we have spoken for a little bit longer than what we needed to.
We can speak all week.
But you know what? It's like it's almost like it's just like having a bit of a chat, really, isn't it? And it's just always really nice to do something like this.
Yes,
have you on here. So I'm going to direct. Are you okay with me directing people to your community?
Yes.
Be nice. So if you're a woman, you're running a business and you're working from home, you're starting to look showing up, and you're feeling just a little bit camera shy, then go check out Ursula in a group, Be You Now. She does an amazing. I've not got wine. I've just got water.
I'm only got water now. That's on 5 o'clock. I have wine at 5.
Yeah, she has wine, live with wine on a Friday evening, and it's really great. And everyone comments. There's so many comments on there. I think when I had a look, you had like 90 comments or something.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
It was just so vibrant, and everyone's always chatting. It's a great community.
Yeah, it's really.
So yeah, you can find Ursula there. I'm going to pop up her free gift for you as well on this post. And then if you would like to reach out to Ursula, just make sure you comment and reach out to her, because she is amazing. She's amazing. So I'm going to leave it there for today. Thank you, Ursula, for being with us. Thank you so much. Same time next week, everyone. Friday, 12:30. It might run over a little bit because it is like a bit of a chat, but a little bit of learning for you. So it helps you progress with your business, helps you move along, whether it's spiritually, whether it's not spiritually, but in some way it's going to help you heal. So I'm going to leave it there for today. Have an amazing day.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye.